I'm on. Hello guys, I'm alive. Hit me with a hello. Right guys. Hey Cerebral, what's going on? Oh, come on. Yes, okay. Welcome to Light to Cart. Oh, there we go, okay. Hey, Marinin. Marinin. Was that what you're saying? Mirm? Or Murm? Mirm? Mirm. Anglati. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Good morning. Let me get my speaker set. Hey, Brandon. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. But you, Angelati. There we go. Thank you, Angelati. Hello. It's your birthday? Shad. I think I'm gonna sing happy birthday to you because I said you're the one that are you the one that made the comment about Annie? See, but did you say that you're like, it's my birthday today, but I'm not celebrating it, so all these people can wish you a happy birthday. So I can sing happy birthday to you? Yes. Do you want me to sing happy birthday to you? Would it be like insulting if I sing happy birthday to you? Is it a religious thing that you don't celebrate? Or you're just like, birthdays don't mean that much to me? I will whip out a birthday song in a minute, though. Just let me know. Okay, if you're shy, good morning. All right, well, you know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna sing that little bar from Together at last, together forever, we're tying a knot they never can sever. I don't need sunshine now to turn my skies to blue. I don't need anything but you. Yesterday was plain awful. Yesterday was plain awful. But that's not now, that's then. I'm poor as a mouse, I'm richer than Midas, but nothing on earth can ever divide us. And if tomorrow I'm an apple seller too, I don't need anything but you. And what's that bedtime tune you always ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba, but you. Alright, yes, I messed it up, right? I'm poor as a mouse, I'm richer than Midas, but nothing on earth could ever divide us. And what's that bedtime tune you always ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, but you. There we go. That is your birthday song. Your birthday song. Because I was gonna actually put that in a video for you, but it's just your birthday, and you're not like, you know what, a birthday song? I sung that for your birthday. There you go. So that's so yeah. I think the video that I made, that was like, what was it? It's a Dark Harp winner. I was thinking of Annie because I was living in my bathroom. You guys, it was so fucking cold. It was 10 degrees. I think on the inside of my house. It was crazy. Okay? And I took all my couch pillows, I took my bed pillows, I made a makeshift lamp out of a terracotta plot and some candles, a heater, but that kind of sort of worked, but not really. I lived in my bathroom for 4 days, and my friend was like, you can go to my house, you know? But before that, it was so much snow on the road, and I live in a one-way street, that no car, like, I have a small car, there's no way my car would have been able to make it through that. So I couldn't even leave for the first couple days. There was no heat. There was water up until, like, the third day, and then they turned the water off because they don't want the pipes to burst. And then, thank God, my friend Neil let me, he was out of town, he was like, you just go to my house. It was a godsend, and then I was so happy, and then I was thinking about, I literally was rooming in a tomb where I sit and freeze, so that's why I thought about Annie. There's a part that goes, used to room in a tomb where I'd sit and freeze, look at me now, holy cow, would someone pinch me please? And I was like, oh, and then 2 people in the comment section was like, that's from Annie. I was like, yeah, you guys know. Yeah, that's true. Some people know how old I am. Some people don't. I'm thinking about that. I was talking to one of my friends. I was teasing him, and I was like, yeah, you get old. He's like, yeah, I'm loving every minute of it. I was like, you're amazing. I'm like, I feel the same way. I have so much confidence now. But I'm not one of these people, too, that's like, oh, I'm old. My body. I have a friend that's like that. He's just like, I'm old. My body is falling apart. My joints are aching. And I'm just like, you're telling your DNA is listening to you. You're telling your DNA that as you age. And I think that's one of the secrets why there's some people that age better than others. I think that's like, you know, that's part of it is your mindset. You know, and it's like, if you think that you are, yeah, I love you, Mark. Yeah. Yeah. But if you're constantly telling yourself that you are old and that you're constantly saying that your body's breaking down, your body's going to start to break down, your body's going to listen to you. So I get that. I like celebrating my birthday because it's a good way to it's a good excuse to get my friends together and party. Like, any excuse to party is like, yeah, party, you know? So, all right, so speaking of singing, I'm going to be re-releasing my music video next Tuesday. So the premiere is already up there. I'm going to be releasing it midnight on Central Standard Time, Tuesday morning. And I think if you guys leave comment, I'm attaching it to a 6-week Indiegogo campaign. So what happened was, I released my video on my music channel last, like, election weekend, which was retarded. I thought it was going to be a good turnout, and I thought people would be pumped, and, excuse me, I just burped. Sorry. I thought people would be pumped, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to release an election weekend, and, you know, it's going to be blah, 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 it's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. It's on Halloween. I released it on Halloween, but that was election weekend. And I was like, hey guys, I have a music video. Go to my music page, which I just started, which only has about 200 people on it. And I think, you know, I understand that everybody's not on the channel every time. Everybody doesn't see the videos all the time. And then it was just so, you know, with the election fraud and everything, or ejection fraud, I'm sorry. It was, you know, it was really, like, emotionally, I fart too, just so you know, prevent I fart, go figure. It was just emotionally devastating and psychologically just, like, stunting for a lot of people. So, and I was set up to come on a lot of my other friends' shows that were YouTubers. And it was just everything just stopped in their tracks. So three mistakes I made. I released it during election weekend. Third mistake, and then I released it on my music channel. What I should have put it on my main channel, because that's where I have most of my subscribers, duh. And then have you guys go to my music channel from there. But I did the other way. And then 3, I was trying to raise a lot of money for an album that was gonna have a music video for each song. Hey Dave, what's up? Music video for each song, and it was going to and I was going to do a whole album, which was a lot of money, but I had the budget out. I mean, I was gonna anyway. I think it was a lot of money. It was very overwhelming. So I want to thank the people that did donate it. I raised almost $500, but I'm putting that aside, and I'm doing another. I'm gonna attach it to another fundraiser, which is gonna be like. It's going to be $8,000 for a music video and an EP, which I think it's more attainable. And I want to have the EP done by the end of, or by at least September. If there's any hiccups, I will keep in communication with it. I already started working on the next songs, and I have some footage I'm going to be displaying after I release a video of us like working through the bugs and us recording and stuff like that. So I'm really excited, and I think what I'm going to do, if people want to leave as a what do you call it, as a way of promoting my music, I will sing a few bars of a song during the 6 weeks that this campaign is going on, if you request it. I can't do a full a cover because A, I'd have to practice, and I don't really have time to practice to do a really good job on a cover, and then B, you know, I can still get tagged for singing other people's songs. You can do covers, I found out, but there's a process. You have to go through like paperwork and stuff. So if you do the cover and it's successful, then the original artist also gets half of like your earnings or whatever you make on YouTube. So so if you guys want to leave what do you call it, request, starting next week when I do a video, when I do my regular videos, I'll sing a couple bars of a song for you in the video to promote what I'm doing for you guys. And then what else? And then also I will be, I know there's some people that have asked me, they wanted to interview me for their channel, so I'll do anybody's channel, no matter how many subscribers you are. I'll be I'm promoting my single. I'm promoting my campaign to raise for my EP. So I'm willing to be interviewed on anyone's channel if you want. There's a couple people I wrote back and that asked me, but just so you know, just with anybody, I've noticed this. If there's somebody that's really hard to get, I'm not super like big, or I wouldn't say I'm necessarily hard to get, I'm busy, but there are people that are way busier than me. But I notice a lot of times too, it's easy to get people just in general if they're promoting something, because they want to promote it, and what they usually do is they set aside a block of weeks just to do interviews to promote whatever they're doing. So that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm like you know, I'm like, hey guys, I'm trying to promote this. If you want to interview me, I'll promote that, but we can also talk about other stuff. So if you start your channel and you want interviews and stuff, I won't care if you have 10 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers. Contact me at either, I'm trying to, TrutherTalk@protonmail.com. I'm moving over. I mean, I still have the other email address, but I'm moving over to TrutherTalk@protonmail.com. So, and let me know, show me your channel, be like, hey, and we'll set up a time. But it will be after, I'll be available for interviews after Tuesday of next week, after I what am I trying to say? After I release the video. So, hey Tony, what's up? All right, let me do my promos, and then we'll have a couple things to talk about. We're gonna talk about some stuff today. We'll talk. I'm just so happy to be alive, and I'm happy to have you. That's all I have to say, you guys. That's all I have to say. I'm so happy. Alright guys, you can support this channel by becoming a subscribe star person. I have a couple of people subscriptions start from $2 a month all the way up to $2.50 a month. And the thing about that is I don't get any of that money. I still haven't gotten because I have low subscriber, which is fine. I appreciate it, so I'm not mad. But I'm saying, like, if I have somebody at $2 a month, and you know the threshold is $100, I don't get the money until I reach that $100 threshold. So that sucks about Subscribe Start. But you can join if you don't like Patreon. I gave people the option of doing Subscribe Start or either Patreon. Okay. Subscriptions start from $5 all the way up to $1,000 if you're like balling like that on Patreon. And it's yeah, if you want to do that, you're welcome to do that as well. But I get the payouts right away from Patreon, so that's why I'm still keeping Patreon up. Please join my email list with everything that's going on. Hey man, like, I need your emails because who knows, knock on wood, one day I might wake up and I won't have a channel. And that would be very sad. But how would I keep in touch with you? I would have my email list. I mean, just like last time, if you guys are on my email list, I sent you, I hope you guys got the message that I had a strike for a week, as well as what was going on, because I had no power. So that means I had no internet. I had no computer. Like, I couldn't do my live shows here because there's no power. But I sent an email out to everybody that was on my email list to let them know the situation. And that, you know, I couldn't, what do you call it, you know, I wasn't posting videos, so, so look, you can also support the channel by buying products from the Truther Talk store. I wrote 4 great zines, the Great Vaccine Debate, 2 on vaccines, 1 on GMOs, 1 on cannabis. You can buy the infamous Conspiracy Realist t-shirt. I have 2 pieces of artwork. And you can buy the All Lives Matter sticker. Yeah, bumper sticker too. That's another way to support. You can also follow me on Gab, or us on Gab. That's my homie. We 2 people. She's hiatus or whatever you want to call it right now. But right now I'm over. But that's the co-founder and me on Truther Talk. And what is that? Anyway. Oh, okay. Oh, I need to show that video. I'll show that video in a minute. Forgot about that. Anyway, I'm on Chute. I'm on Brighteon. I have not started really uploading on Brighteon like I need to, but I'm going to soon. I'm on Steemit. I'm on DTUBE. Listen to our old podcasts on SoundCloud. Purchase a Conspiracy Realist course. And join my music channel. I removed my other video from the music channel since I'm going to be premiering it next week again. So for those of you guys that see it, shh, don't tell anybody, right? You can also join That's My Music page on Gab. And this is my backup channel. You can join that. And what else? And I think we're getting into today's news. So let me play this, actually. So a good friend of mine, Curtis Koss, who works with the Children's Defense League, and some of his pals, have made this informational video on vaccines. Specifically the allergies. Specifically the COVID vaccine. And I wanted to promote this last week, but I couldn't because they locked me out. So I think it's really funny. It's a cute little animation, and I have to remember to put it in the comments because I forgot to put the link to this in the comments. But you can, here, I'm going to play it. Just let me know what you guys think. Let me know how the sound is. Oh, fuck. I hope it plays.
Any questions? If we take the COVID vaccine, can we stop wearing face masks? Great question. The answer is no. You will still need to wear a mask.
If we take the COVID vaccine, will we be protected from getting COVID?
No, you could still get COVID.
What? I thought the vaccine was supposed to protect us from getting COVID.
You watch too much television. The COVID vaccine might help minimize symptoms should a person develop COVID, like coughs.
What? I don't need a vaccine for a cough. I can take cough syrup for that.
There's no need to be rude. Next question.
Will we still need to do social distancing?
Yes. Everyone should still practice social distancing even after getting the vaccine.
Wait a minute, that does not make any sense.
Excuse me, you had your chance.
Sorry, but why would we still need to social distance after taking the vaccine?
It's simple. They don't know if the vaccine will prevent transmission of the virus.
Why not?
That's because they didn't test for whether the COVID vaccine could prevent transmission of the virus from person to person.
What?
What? That's insane!
It may seem insane, but that's the world we live in. These companies had to come up with a vaccine in less than a year. What did you expect? There was no time to do all the necessary testing.
So you mean that I still can't hug my girlfriend without a mask?
No! You can't hug your girlfriend, parents, grandparents, best friends, or your kids without a mask.
What about my dog? Can I at least hug my dog without a mask?
Well, it should be okay to hug your dog without a mask.
What about lockdowns? Will we still need lockdowns?
You again?
Yes, I really want to know.
Yes, the lockdowns will need to stay in place.
How long?
Forever. Just kidding. We need to wait until the majority of people in the world get the COVID vaccine.
And then the lockdowns will end?
No.
What?
I don't know when the lockdown should end. Nobody does. It could be a year or 10 years.
10 years?
Or longer. We don't know. The good news is that everyone who participates in this COVID vaccine experiment is helping to improve our understanding.
So we're just lab rats.
That's a harsh way of putting it. No one is being forced to take this vaccine.
Let me get this straight. Even if we take this vaccine, we will still need to wear a mask? We will still need to social distance? The vaccine will not protect us from COVID? No testing was done on transmission after getting the vaccine, and the lockdowns will not end. I have one last question. Why should anyone even take this COVID vaccine?
No more questions for today. Class is over.
No.
Man.
Alright, so.
For a cough?
Oops, sorry. Alright, so. Say it's insane, right? When you really think about, like, you know, we have to wear this. Let me get my. So we have to wear this. We have to take this vaccine, but you still have to wear masks. You still have to social distance, and they don't even know if you can transmit it from person to person still. So it's like, why are we even taking the vaccine? But there are people that are rushing out to go and get this vaccine, and they're just like, I'm gonna get it anyway. There's so many people that have died, that have got adverse side effects, and this is just a small percentage of people that are being reported that we know of, right? And people are still anxious to get the vaccine. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. All right. Let me see. All right, next video is up. All right, so have you guys seen this? Apparently now it's okay to keep kids in cages because Biden is doing it, right? See, same thing like with Obama, when Obama did it. It was okay. It was okay to keep kids in cages because Obama was doing it, right? Because those pictures were from the Obama administration, not from the Trump administration. But you know, it's okay now that Biden is doing it. So listen to this. I thought you guys would get a kick out of this.
Why is the Biden administration reopening a temporary facility for migrant children in Texas?
Well, first, the policy of this administration, as you well know, but just for others, is not to expel unaccompanied children who arrive at the border. And the process, how it works, is that Customs and Border Control continue to transfer unaccompanied children to the HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement. That can take a couple of days. I just want to give this context because people need to understand the process. But because of COVID-19 protocols, the social distancing requirements, the capacity of the existing Office of Refugee Resettlement shelters has been significantly reduced because, of course, you can't have a child in every bed. There needs to be spacing, and we abide by those spacing to protect the kids who are living in those facilities for a short period of time. And to ensure the health and safety of these kids, HHS took steps to open an emergency facility to add capacity where these children can be provided the care they need before they are safely placed with families and sponsors. So it's a temporary reopening during COVID-19. Our intention is very much to close it, but we want to ensure that we can follow COVID protocols as unaccompanied minors come into the United States.
But it's the same facility that was open for a month in the Trump administration, summer 2019. That is when Joe Biden said, under Trump, there have been horrifying scenes at the border of kids being kept in cages, and Kamala Harris said, basically, babies in cages is a human rights abuse being committed by the United States government. So how is this any different than that?
We very much feel that way. These are facilities, let me be clear here. One, there's a pandemic going on. I'm sure you're not suggesting that we have children right next to each other in ways that are not COVID safe, are you?
I'm suggesting that Kamala Harris said that this facility, putting people in this facility, was a human rights abuse committed by the United States government, and Joe Biden said, under Trump, there have been horrifying scenes of at the border of kids being kept in cages. Now, it's not under Trump, it's under Biden.
This is not kids being kept in cages. This is a facility that was opened that's going to follow the same standards as other HHS facilities. It is not a replication, certainly not. That is never our intention of replicating the immigration policies of the past administration, but we are in a circumstance where we are not going to expel unaccompanied minors at the border. That would be inhumane. That is not what we are going to do here as an administration. We need to find places that are safe under COVID protocols for kids to be, where they can have access to education, health and mental services, consistent with their best interests. Our goal is for them to then be transferred to families or sponsors. So this is our effort to ensure that kids are treated or not in close proximity, and that we are abiding by the health and safety standards that the government has been set out.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on. Oh, man.
Man, like, what fucking hypocrites these people are. It's just like, I hope that people that aren't, that don't know or haven't seen what we've seen, I hope they're getting it now. Like, it's just, for this fake ass pandemic, we have to keep them because of COVID. Oh God, just when you think you can't hate these people anymore, they hate them more. Like, seriously, and I'm shocked that reporter actually was able to get that question through, because they don't really ask, these reporters don't ask hard questions from the people that aren't patriots, basically. So, all right, so next video. So, let me just set up the preference. So Coco Cola, basically, there was a whistleblower that basically leaked this internal document saying that Coco Cola was having, racial sensitivity training and telling people to be less white. And it's just so racist. And the thing that gets me, well, you know what? I'm just going to play this and I'll tell you later. If this was the other way around, people would lose their shit. Again, the hypocrisy. I think that's one of the main things that I hate. It's just the hypocrisy. It's like they can do whatever they want to do, but we can't do whatever we want to do. So all right, let me play this one, talking about what happened with the Coca-Cola situation.
Club soda, flavors, caffeine, and a ton of sugar. It's a well-guarded secret for sure, but there can't be much more to bring up an iconic Coke. But how can we make it even better, Coca-Cola thought. Well, how about we make our white employees less white? But put down your stones, at least for now. This has nothing to do with blackface, but rather a training course for workers.
The video circulating on social media is from a publicly available LinkedIn learning series and is not a focus of our company's curriculum. Our Better Together global learning curriculum is part of a learning plan to help build an inclusive workplace.
In the program, an almost step-by-step guide on how to get the vice of whiteness out of you. Be less arrogant, be less oppressive, Be more humble. Well, let me sum this up for you real quick. Just quit acting like a jerk, would ya? And generally speaking, it's great advice to follow while navigating through life altogether. But when the public found out, some weren't happy that all those negative traits had been dumped on one particular race.
Sadly, the irony of confronting racism by telling you to be less of your skin color will be lost on many.
I don't know about you, but I can't drink Coca-Cola products anymore.
Imagine Coca-Cola telling employees to be less black or be less Jewish. It's unacceptable and unethical to tell anyone to be less of their race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, etc. I'm ashamed to have Coca-Cola on my resume.
However, some users pushed back and hailed Coca-Cola for its efforts.
They should have changed this to talk specifically about whiteness and not be less white. But good on Coca-Cola for doing this work.
Pussy.
Only bigots are mad at Coca-Cola for the less white training. They're the only ones who won't even examine what else is there, because they center themselves in white vapidity, proving the training's very premise.
Pussy.
The majority of that content looks to be on point. It's that last slide which is an issue because of the rigidity of corporate America.
Pussy.
Coca-Cola is just the latest in a host of companies to hop on the woke bandwagon. From changing profile pictures to show support for the Black Lives Matter movement, to rebranding whole product lines deemed to be, well, behind the times.
Alright guys, so I just want to say, I don't see why anybody drinks Coca-Cola at all anyway. I'm trying to get my mom to stop drinking it, even Diet Coke. Like, you have either a choice between aspartame or you have a choice between high fructose corn syrup. Both are very poisonous. Both do have devastating effects on your body. And I can't even remember the last time I drank a soda that was, I'll drink like the Italian sodas that have natural sweetening and stuff like that, and I barely drink those, but like Coca-Cola, the canned stuff, the aluminum that are in, like they're in aluminum cans, first of all. They have high fructose corn syrup, other chemicals, especially since there's just, you don't really know what's in them. They don't tell you the recipe for Coca-Cola. And then you think of the black community, and all the people that have diabetes and obesity, and they drink a lot of soda, like all the time, like every day, okay? It's in fast food. It's not like just in a can of Coke, but you go and you eat fast food. If you eat fast food, people usually get a soda, which has high fructose corn syrup, which is a huge contributor to diabetes and all these other diseases that, afflict the black community. Yet, I bet you black people are going to see that have bought the race bullshit, and they're going to be like, good on Coca-Cola, like for sticking it to these white people because they need to be told what's what. I'm going to drink more Coca-Cola, meaning I'm going to get more diabetes and more obesity. So it's kind of like this race thing where it's like this passive aggressive, like, what do they call that? Reverse psychology, racism, where it's basically getting more black people to kill themselves. So, and it's sad that it's taking this for even other people to realize how bad Coke is. Coke is just poison anyway. So just stop drinking it. I remember when I was teaching, I had this infographic. And we'd have break, and, the kids offered me some soda one time, and I was like, yeah, I don't drink soda. It was Coca-Cola. And I was like, yeah, I don't drink Coca-Cola. And they were like flabbergasted. They're like, oh, the teacher is so good. Why don't you drink Coca-Cola? And hold on. Let me see if I can pull this infographic up. And they were just like, they'd never heard of anybody that didn't drink soda. They were just like fascinated and like horrified at the same time because they just couldn't wrap their head around why someone would not want to drink soda. I'm trying to pull this infographic up. It's called A Sip of Soda. Let me see if I can pull it up on another, let's try this one. Okay, I think this is, oh my god, it's taking forever. But it's a really good infographic, and I want to do, it's not up there anymore. Well, let me see if I can find another one. I have the pictures somewhere. Let's try Food Matters. Anyway, if I can find it, I will show it to you. But it basically talks about how soda impacts your health, and it's anywhere from like your tooth enamel to asthma to heart disease to reproductive issues to kidney issues. And since I don't own this infographic, I'm like, I need to make my own infographic showing this, because it's, oh man, it's saying, okay, look, I'll show you a bit of it. I was trying to enlarge it, but here. If you guys want to do a search for it later, because I don't want to keep, let me see, Sip of Soda infographic. Maybe I'll get more views that way, or more options. All right, let's try this one. Infographic day. Let's try that one. See if that works. Please. Aha! I found it! It's working! It's alive! Alright, so for those of you guys, I don't know, this is the biggest I can make it at the moment, but look, I don't know, can you see? Oh, my pointer doesn't go over it. So, alright, so look on your left side: asthma, dissolved tooth enamel, heart disease, kidney issues, reproductive issues, sugar overload, osteoporosis, increased risk of diabetes, obesity. So these people are going to go and they're going to drink more poison? Get the fuck out of here. Because they think that these people are sticking it to Whitey. I swear, I think about the 7 deadly sins a lot, especially during these past few years, and how they, it's like, it's in the Bible. I haven't read the whole Bible, and I don't really quote from the Bible, but I think about the 7 deadly sins, and I think about how they're getting black people to destroy themselves through the sin of pride. Because they're really, they're really capitulating to black people's ego in this situation. And then they're gonna support this company that's basically, coercing them and manipulating them to drink poison. And then they're going to kill themselves in the process. And then, they're gonna turn a blind eye. They're not gonna talk about, we're not gonna have an honest conversation about obesity in this community. And then, people are going to freak out. And when a white person kills a police officer, even though there are more black people dying of obesity and, diseases that are preventable, totally preventable, and it's based on all of the manipulation through the media. And you notice and it's direct correlation with the news media too, because these are the corporations that sponsor the lying ass fucking media. So can we get real about this? I don't even, Yeah, I mean, Aunt Jemima was bad too, but I mean, it was good, but I mean, the story, it was cool. They're erasing that lady's history because there's a cool story behind that person, but, at least, I don't know. So this is the last thing I want to show you guys in relations to high fructose corn syrup, and then I'll start taking calls, but I found this guy. I follow this doctor. I follow quite a few doctors that think outside the box, and this is one that I like. His name is Dr. Eric Berg. And he has really short, simple videos. He always does these whiteboard presentations, but he's really good at explaining things really simply for lay people. So I got a little snippet of this lecture from him. So listen to this about high fructose corn syrup, which is in soda, which is in Coco Cola.
High fructose corn syrup has about a 58 to 42. Similar, but it's a little bit more glucose. But the unique thing about this, it's unbound. So the significance of it being unbound is it creates a lot more liver damage. When you consume high fructose corn syrup, you create a similar effect as drinking alcohol. So you're going to get problems with inflammation in the liver, eventually scar tissue, So you'll eventually get a fatty liver if you consume too much. But here's the problem. Kids have the highest consumption of high fructose corn syrup. It's actually 72 grams per day. That's crazy. And when you consume a refined sugar, they pull out the nutrients, they pull out the vitamins. Even like with cane sugar, for example, they pull out the vitamins and the minerals, and they put that as molasses. So they give you this completely empty carbohydrate. What's going to happen is going to deplete you of those nutrients, because it takes certain nutrients, especially B1 and other B vitamins, to metabolize and break down and use that sugar. So when you consume the sugar, you are depleting a lot of B vitamins. And one of the conditions that you can develop from consuming too much refined sugar is a buildup of lactic acid. And that's called lactic acidosis. So you might find that it's hard to breathe, you might get restless leg syndrome, and there's a lot of other issues as well. But here's the thing, no nutrients in the refined carbohydrate depletes you of the nutrients, and it gives you a lot of oxidative stress in your arteries, in the nervous system, in the brain, and the eyes. And this is the problem with the diabetic. They have high levels of sugar in the blood, and it's oxidizing the tissues, mainly four: the eyes, the kidney, the heart, and the nervous system and brain. And then you get the complications of diabetes. If you were to at least consume sugar with the nutrients, let's say, for example, you ate sugar cane with all the vitamins and things in there, or you had fruit, for example, or even if you took nutrients while you're eating the sugar, you would actually experience less side effects or less complications. You would get diabetes, but you wouldn't have the degree of complications and side effects. Not that I'm recommending that, but if you are a diabetic and you're on keto, doing intermittent fasting, and you're healing, it's very important to add more of the nutrients in the body to lower the complications. So even though your blood sugars might still be high in this transition phase, the nutrients that you're taking are protection against this oxidative stress. So in summary, there's absolutely zero benefits of consuming any of these sweeteners and even exposing your kids to these sweeteners. It's so easy to use the alternatives. Xylitol, for example, tastes almost identical to sugar. Erythritol is a great alternative sweetener. Stevia, some people don't like that, but it's good in certain things, but not others. Monk fruit, the same thing. So if you're new to this, I put a link down below for more data on alternative sugars, so you can completely avoid beet sugars and high fructose corn syrup. Thanks for watching.
So I think I can probably find an even better video talking about how terrible high fructose corn syrup is. But I just had to, I was in a rush this morning and I wanted to just show that. It's poison, dude. It's fucking poison. And it's like, I talk about it in my GMO zine that I'm in this one for kids, because I really wanted to do something for kids and get them thinking about, where's the other, here, in this one, the junk in your food. I talk about it in this scene that I wrote, just the stuff that's in your food. And anyway, I talk about that, and it's just, it's worse than you think it is. I'll put it like that. But anyway, all right, guys, I will start taking calls. 512-417-464. 7464. Oh, I gotta be active. There we go. I gotta turn on the Skype. I know your friends think you're crazy because you don't give. I bet you your kid is very smart too, right? Because he can think, because his brain's not inflamed. I bet you that, right? I have a friend that she has 4 girls. The first one's slightly vaccinated, and then she had a bad reaction, and they didn't vaccinate the rest of her kids. And she's super organic. She's a nurse. Doesn't feed them any crap. Her daughters are flipping like all geniuses. They're all amazing. They're all articulate. They're all like, just very full of energy and they're just great girls. Smart as fuck. Yeah, smart AF. Exactly. Yeah, I know, right? Your kids, and I bet you get people coming up to you that are like, "Oh my God, your daughters are so smart," and you're like, "Yeah, because I don't like inflame their brains with garbage." All right, good morning.
Morning, Christine. How are you?
Good. How are you? Who's this?
Lenny from New Jersey. How are you?
Hey, Lenny from New Jersey. What's going on? From Jersey.
Not much.
Jersey. What's going on?
Yeah.
How you doing? Are you having winter there?
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
We've been having a lot of snow, and it's funny because my mom's neighbor, she's a nurse. She swears up and down climate change, this and that. I'm like, but Carol. I'm like, but wouldn't that mean less snow if the world's getting hotter?
Yeah, I know.
I'm only 33. When I was a kid, I don't remember this much snow. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, they were saying, oh, no, this is proof of global warming because we're not having snow. It's February, and it's like 70 degrees outside. So we went through a couple of years where we had very mild winters.
Wow. So are you...
She was like, no, it's climate change. The climate is changing because now we're getting, even whenever it does snow, it's even worse. And then they're like, well, look at Texas because they don't get snow there, and now they got snow.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we got snow there, it doesn't snow, and they're out of power because of the green electricity.
Yeah. Somebody...
Because the wind turbines.
I need to do a little bit more research on this, but, somebody actually sent me a meme saying that they actually have wind turbines in Antarctica and they don't freeze up. So what's going on?
I think it's probably because, to be fair, they probably winterize them. Whereas a warm weather state, they probably don't winterize because they figure they don't get really cold weather.
Yeah, I thought about that too
Just to think that could possibly freeze up and we'd be out of electricity. We'd be sent to the Stone Age. Because the wind isn't blowing and the turbines, they're freezing up because it's too cold.
Yeah, I thought about that being a possibility too, but maybe they knew they prepared them for the harsher weather in Antarctica and they didn't do that here. I don't know. I just knowing that what we're dealing with and who we're dealing with and who's in quote unquote in charge of things and who's trying to control us and what they're trying to, and the lies that they told during the pandemic, it's not what they're telling us. I know it's not global warming. I know it's not that. So I think, my first thought was HARP. And one of my friends was like, I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think this is weather modification. And I was like, yeah, who do you think you're talking to? Like, come on. Yeah, that was my first thought. And even my friend, I was showing her pictures and she lives in Minnesota and they get snow there, yearly. And she was just like, because it was iced and snow. And it just came like overnight, it was 70 degrees. One of the last videos I made before, the winter, I was on the 360 bridge and I was like, it's 70 degrees, you guys. I love being in Texas. And I felt like it was my karma for rubbing it in people's faces. Like somebody put a hex on me on Texas. Like, I'll show you with your 70-degree weather. But yeah, and then a couple of days after that, it was just all of a sudden it was ice on the steps, ice on the railings, all my plants. I'm looking at my rosemary. My rosemary is holding up. I'm impressed. Anyway, but it was just I went to go to my car to see if I can charge my phone, and my car doors were frozen shut, and snow. And it was just, I've been in snow before and I've never even seen anything like this before. It was just so weird. And then you had all those people that were making videos trying to melt the snow, and either some people, it was turning black, or it was it was like, it had like this gel consistency after it melted. It was kind of like this jelly shit.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I actually tried it myself. But, I mean, different parts
What
of
happened?
Texas. It was just, I could have probably did a better experiment. I didn't put it in a snowball. Because most people did, like, packed it and put it in a snowball. I got a couple scoops and put it in a bowl, and it looked like it was kind of melting, and I left it overnight, and it melted, and it was water. But I had other friends that did experiments, too, where they had that happen. And then my other friend was showing, like, after the snow melted, there were, like, these little fibers on his, like, after where, like, the snow had been. So people are getting different reactions from, like, whatever. So, yeah, he found these little fibers. Other people are getting black snow. Some people are getting gel. So I think they're using different things.
True.
And the trees were just, the trees, like, you know, like how they're like snowflakes on the trees? Like, you know, or the trees are white. But a lot of the trees and plants, they were just like frozen solid, like ice. And then it snowed. I don't know. It was just so weird. It was so weird. But I don't really, because I haven't grown up in snow, I feel like I can't really comment as much on that because I don't, you know, I've rarely been in snow my whole life. But people that have been in snow, I'm more listening to people that have grown up in snow, and they're saying how weird it is, you know.
Yeah, we've grown up in snow. New Jersey's a cold weather state. We're in the Northeast.
Do you
so I remember like when I was in high school, like maybe 10, 15 years ago. Let me think. 2002, yeah, like 18, 19 years ago is when I was a freshman in high school. And like, so from like 2002 to like 2006, we didn't really get much snow. And it would be really, really warm. And I remember them saying, oh yeah, but see, this is proof of global warming because we're having very mild winters. And then they would show the pictures of the ice caps melting. And then I always used to think, oh wow, that's really, really bad. But then I started doing some research, and then they're like, you notice how they always go on and on how the ice caps are melting? Yeah, but what about the layers of ice that it gains? Because there's part of the ice caps that's not, the sun doesn't hit, so it doesn't melt, and it grows.
Yeah, and also that was taken in
tell.
summer, right? I've heard that that footage was taken in the summer, and they melt a little bit because it's hotter, you know. Anyway, and then you might be too young to remember this, but there was this whole ClimateGate scandal. Did you hear about that? Where when they first were proposing the idea of global warming, and there were emails that were released talking about like the numbers and the statistics didn't add up, but they were still going to just lie about it anyway. So, I mean, that was like the climate.
The hockey stick graph.
Yeah, and then when they were having the conference, they purposely like turned the air conditioning off to like psychologically make people think that it was warmer. And then there was another kid that was before Greta Thunberg. She was actually more likable. That was also trying to, you know, rally people around global warming. But, you know, that was one of the reasons, too, I had to quit teaching because it's all in the curriculum. It's all written in the curriculum. So they've been slowly brainwashing the children to believe this stuff. And the thing is, it's like they do, you know, there is a huge problem with pollution, but they collapse that with climate change. And they make it sound like if you don't believe in the theory of climate change that you're against pollution and you hate the earth. So they make it this very like one-sided, very like narrow-minded, narrow view of the whole picture. So you can't have a conversation. It's like the same thing that they do with race, with, you know, sexism, with all this stuff, where it's a little, the situation is more complicated, but they just basically, you know, they just basically say, if you even criticize this, you can't even have a conversation about it. You're a terrible person. You don't care about the planet. You want us all to die. All you want is money and blah, 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 blah. But then you look at all these celebrities that were talking about this in, you know, 2012, and they still have, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, he still lives by the beach. If it's so bad, why are you moving? Why do you still have your house over there? You know?
That's exactly what I say to everybody. I said, I'm sorry, I will take it more seriously when these politicians, these CEOs, and these celebrities move out of their waterfront mansions, get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And they live in a little 500 square foot apartment like a normal person.
And they have multiple houses.
Seriously then.
No, totally. And they have multiple houses around the world. You know, and they've
And
traveled
flying
on their private
Each other,
jets.
their jets and their yachts.
Yeah, and their jets and their yachts, and I was like, oh, they can do it, but we can't. We can't even have. They can have a yacht and multiple houses, but we have to, like, you know, not flush our toilet water. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, I don't believe that it's a threat, and I don't believe that we can have an impact on the weather like that, but we can. I think we have an impact, you know, on the planet and pollution, and I mean that's a real discussion, and those are real solutions that can come of it. But it's the same companies that are basically, it's like, it's almost too, I feel like they're trying to deter us from looking at pollution by bringing up global warming too. So we don't really solve the problem of pollution because they profit off of that, and then the fingers pointed at a lot of these corporations that are, you know, that are doing things. You know, we use these computers. I think about the people in Silicon Valley, and they're just like, oh, pollution and blah blah. But computers are terrible for the environment. Really, if you really want to think about it, all the minerals that are mined to make the computers a pollution. These things aren't biodegradable. You know. The batteries, the lithium that's used, that's, you know, it's terrible it's terrible for the environment, you know, and it can't be, you know, I don't know. So, I mean, they're doing just as bad as when they talk about the oils and the coal. And it's, to me, I think now I have to do more research, but from what I'm starting to realize, it seems like that's kind of better than some of the electronic stuff, or it's just as bad, you know. So it's like, you know, what...
Well, now we have shale and natural gas. I was reading something, they said that the CO2 emissions that are coming out of the coal plants now it's like water and like hydrogen. Before it was like mercury and a whole other bad chemicals, but now they figured out a way so that it doesn't emit the bad stuff.
Oh yeah, I yeah, that too. Yeah, that would be good, right? And then also it's like, what was I gonna say? But you know, I mean, fracking is bad. I really think that shit needs to stop. We need to find a way around that. But at the same time, you can't displace people from all their jobs like that. You know, you can't just like cut down, you know, close down those factories and you know, put people out of a job. If we're gonna move to a technology that is not gonna frack, you need to retrain those people to work in the new technology so they still have their jobs. Because it's like, it's not even like they like fracking. They're just worried about their jobs. I'm sure they're not like passionate about fracking. You know what I mean? They're like, oh,
I mean,
like,
it's part of backbreaking work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At the same time, it pays good and it can support a family, so yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, I need to put food on the table. I need to survive. It's survivalism for them. It's not because they want to. But the leftist, you know, the leftist and the mainstream people would try and make people like that just like, oh, they're just greedy. They just want money and they're killing the earth and they don't care. But they don't look at what they're doing, how they're killing the earth too. They're killing the earth with their fucking Silicon Valley shit, computers.
Yeah.
You know, they're not even, you know, it's just as bad. If you want to look at it, if you want to take an environmentalist standpoint, it's just as bad, you know.
It was a couple years ago, did you know about the whole learn to code thing, right?
No.
The meme, learn to code?
Oh, learn to code, yeah.
Because that started because when the coal mines in West Virginia shut down, they said, oh, the coal miners, they would learn to code. Like, they can learn, like, coding and, like, computer stuff. And do that for a living.
That's fucked up, too. Look at what that's doing to society. I guess it's good to learn that stuff, and it's cool. Like, I delved a little bit into that, but, I you know, it's also, it's like you're trying to push, it's like, you know, it's like the fucking British people going into Africa and being like, drink tea. And they're like, and wear suits. They're like, we don't want to drink tea and wear suits. You know, it's kind of like the same thing. And they're making like the white middle class. My friend Inonge and I have talked about this. They're basically treating like the poor white, like, you know, blue collar workers like they treat the Africans and the indigenous people. But yet the left, you know, if they saw that happening, oh, that's wrong. You know, it's like you go into their environment, you see they're suffering, you go into their environment, and you don't ask them what they want, you tell them what they want. Instead of asking them what they want and making them and trying to suit their needs. But they're just coming along, oh, well, you guys need to move with the modern age, you savages, basically. That's what we're saying. Learn to code, savages.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to code.
Yep.
Like, get with the modern stuff, right? But they're not, but they're very blind to what, the computer culture is doing to society with with their technology and their EMF waves and all that stuff. It's having a bad effect too, and they're just totally blind to it, and they think they're superior, and they're so above it and so educated.
Not only that, not everyone's meant to work with a computer. Not everybody can learn.
And it's not healthy, and it's not everybody. It's not healthy. You know what I mean? Literally sitting at a computer.
Who's gonna pay for your bills in the meantime while you get trained? What if you're older, about to retire, you lose your blue collar job with the pension and health benefits and all that that you worked for 40 years?
Yeah, I know, but they don't care.
You're in your mid 60s, you're supposed to go start another career. No, you're almost 70. You're supposed to enjoy your life. You're about to retire.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Not like me or you, where we're in our early 30s and we go work because we're young.
Yeah, it's like, they don't care. It's like they don't care. They're very selfish. This whole thing is, we're in this whole situation because there are a lot of people that are very selfish and very narrow-minded and very closed-minded, and they think that their perspective is the only perspective and the only perspective that matters. And if you have a different point of view and you have a different perspective, well, to hell with you, because you don't care. Look at what's going on with COVID. I have a friend that's, they were doing well, schizophrenic, and their health has mentally declined because of it. They finally had a job. They were stable,
No,
and they were.
I know that. I lost somebody like that.
Yeah, and people have killed themselves, and all the old people that dying alone, and all the people dying in hospitals alone because of this fake ass narrative, and they don't. But you bring that up. Yeah, and that too, right? And you bring that up, and people are just like, oh, but they don't care because their narrative is the one that matters. I'm like, all right, well, you're a terrible fucking person. You're not as good as you think you are. You're not as a good of a person as you think you are. You're fake. You're a fake good person.
It is. It's all this wokeness. It's all fake because these people don't really care.
They care about how they look.
You go with this sensitivity training. I say no because that just creates more animosity because then people. They don't actually pay attention. They just go through the motions, and then they're gonna say, okay, well, what does any of this have to do with anything? If you're not hiring somebody because they're actually qualified for the job, they're just checking a box.
Yeah.
Because they fit some category.
Oh, I'd be
and that's
so mad.
not good. I know that happened with me a few times because I have a disability, but
did they make you go through sensitivity training because of disability, or did they make other people go through training?
Other people, we got to understand this is how he learns. We got to break things down.
Oh, that's so condescending.
You don't got to break nothing down for me. I'm not retarded.
Yeah.
It might take me a little while to learn it, but I'll learn.
Yeah. Dude, that's so condescending. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I'm just like, it's so ridiculous. And you're just like, when I was teaching special ed, there was a teacher, one of the places I worked, and she would treat the special eds like they were babies. I don't even talk to babies the way she talked to those people. And I'm just like, and they couldn't really respond back, but I always thought I was just like, because they were nonverbal, but I always just be like, what are they, like, do they understand what she's saying, and does it get on their nerves, Does it get on their nerves that she's talking to him? She'd be like, yay! I'm just like, what? I'm like, oh my God. There's this writer. I don't know his last name. His first name is Ido. I've mentioned him in one of my videos. And I think his blog is called Ido and Autism Land. And he's a phenomenal writer, despite him being like nonverbal autistic. He's phenomenal. If you read his stuff, you'd just be like, if you didn't know that he was autistic, you would still just be like, okay, he's a phenomenal writer. He's nonverbal. He uses like typing and rapid prompt to get his ideas, but he understands a lot, even though he can't communicate. And he talks about that in one of his articles. He was just like, I know your heart's in the right place, but don't fucking read us The Cat in the Hat. Like, we're beyond that. Like, this is some bullshit. You're just basically just like, please, like, don't. Like, you know. And so a lot of these kids, even though they're nonverbal and stuff, they understand it. And it just must be really, you know, either they're apraxic, they can't get the word, they know what they want to say, but they can't get the words out, you know. Or maybe their processing is similar.
I saw that when I worked with the autistic kids. There was this one kid, Daniel. He was about my age. I was like in my mid-20s. And his mom was like, no, Lenny's really, really good with him because he doesn't treat him like he's special. He treats him like he's like a friend of his. Like he's just like anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he was partially verbal. He understood and he was partially verbal.
But, you know, and it's like, to me, that's just, it's like, it's funny because I you know, even autistic people or mentally, you know, handicapped people, they have personalities just like anybody else. And I notice you can still have that, quote unquote, I guess, disability and still be like a brat. You know, because they're parents that spoil them, but then there are also people that, you know, I know they treat their kids just like anybody else, and they don't let them throw fits, and they don't let them throw temper tantrums and stuff, and they teach them manners.
The kid Daniel that I worked with, one time he played a trick on me. We were at a pizzeria, and I was like, all right, come on, bud, we gotta go. So we're walking, he's behind me, I'm like, all right, come on, bud. So I'm looking for my car, I turn back, and he's not there. I'm like, oh shit, I lost the kid. How do I lost the kid?
Oh, no!
I'm screaming his name, Daniel.
Oh my God! Did you see a live?
2 minutes later, he pops out from behind one of the cars and he points at me and he starts laughing and he's like, funny. I'm like, no, bud, that's not funny.
I know.
He's like, funny.
Oh my God. No, dude, I'm laughing because I've had that happen on field trips, and I thought like I saw my life flash before my eyes. You know, when kids go missing.
I'm like, oh my God, how do I explain?
I know,
to
like,
the kid's mom that I lost their kid.
Yeah, totally. I had a kid. We were out somewhere, and he ran out and almost got hit by a car. I was just like, oh no, even better, similar to a situation. I remember, okay, playing kickball, and there was this kid, and he kicked the ball, and he like flipped over, and fell like flat on his back, and hit his head on the ground. And then we rushed over to him, and we were like, oh my God, are you okay? And he's laying there. He's like, I can't feel my legs. I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to fucking die. I thought, like, I saw my life. I was like, oh my God, this kid got hurt in my thing. He's never going to walk again. What am I going to tell his parents? Am I going to get sued? Oh my God, they're going to hate me. Oh my God, this kid's life is ruined. He's never going to get a girlfriend. Like, all this shit was going through my head at the same time. I was like, and then he's like, I'm just kidding. He saw that, he heard that in a movie, and he just thought it would be funny to say that. And I was just like, I want to kill you. I want to kill you. That's not funny. That's not funny. You know? But
what really made me start thinking, though, is, like, I used to go to a church, and they were all super, super woke, and then I would see the way they would treat black people. And they would do the same exact thing. They would talk down to the black people.
Oh, God. Yeah, and that's this. But, you know, and there's some black people
that talk to them like they're little puppies.
I know, like we're fucking pets.
Themselves because they were poor and from the hood.
Yeah, they're pets, you know, and it's just like, you know, and, you know, honestly, there's some black people that like that shit. So, you know, it sucks. It's like, you know, the person that gets abused, but they're people that stay in abusive relationships, you know. And I'm not, like, judging those people that do that because I know it's more complicated than that. But you can't, you know, it's like your abuser is not going to stop abusing you until you leave, right? The same thing in this situation. It's a form of psychological abuse. Your abuser is not going to stop abusing you until you say no. I don't want to be treated like a pet. No, I don't want, you know, I do my own thing. And that's, maybe we can get that's a whole nother conversation. I want to go and start taking some other calls, but, you know, that's kind of like the reparations argument from my stance. It's like, okay, well, why are you asking Massa for a handout? If you think the white person's so racist, why don't you're free. Why don't you just walk away and do shit yourself and not stop asking for help. Because as long as you do that, they're going to be dangling this in front of you like a carrot. You know?
All right, Rusty. Well, have
Thanks,
a good
lady.
day.
Okay, you too. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, 512-481-7464. That's very true. Yeah, the people that want to be coddled and controlled. You know, it's like... And I think this is a way, but it's like, it's this whole system too, right? It's like they're keeping us in this mental status quo by showing us movies, by having people talk about it. It's like they won't let the wound heal. And if you look around slavery times, there were people that were inventing things. They were doing amazing things before. They were, you know, Madam C.J. Walker. I didn't see the Netflix series. I wonder if it's still up there, but even before this came out, like, I knew this years ago. Because my cousin gave me this book on, like, black inventors. And it was phenomenal, like, in the 80s, okay? And she was like, you know, when I was a kid. And it was like, I think that's where I found out about Madam C.J. Walker. Garrity Morgan, you know, what was it, the 20s or whatever, invented the traffic light. He invented, like, the gas mask. He invented, like, a bunch of stuff. You know, people are inventing stuff. Okay, they didn't let the discrimination get in their way. You know, Madam C.J. Walker was one of the first black millionaires. In the, just female millionaires too, in the United States because of her hair products. And she was a millionaire. A millionaire. Back in those days, a millionaire, okay? She was probably richer, you know, maybe the millionaire status if she was a millionaire in those days, or I don't know if they calculated the amount of money she made and they were like by today's standards she would be a millionaire. But she was rich and she made her own money. She made her own fortune. Back in the day where, you know, there was supposed to be discrimination. Like, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. There are people that, you know, they don't, like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse, you know? There's a dude, I bring this up a lot, but I don't know if you've seen this song called Chicken in the Corn, but in the corn won't grow. It's by this guy. He got famous. His name is Bushy One String. And 512-481-7464. Let me pin this up. Sorry. 12481-7464. Bushy One String. Okay, and he makes this badass song with a broken guitar, and that's it. In one string on a guitar. And he calls it you know, and it's like, God, there's no excuse. You can't even be like, oh, I don't have a guitar. I don't have, like, people, there's so many videos of people, like, even musically, you know, just they'll make a song out of some pot plants and some spoons, and they'll bang on it, and they'll make a great-ass song, you know? Or water bottles filled up, or glasses filled up, or, like, out of a twig. Have you seen this lady? She's, like, the spoon lady. They call her, like, the spoon lady, and she's like, she just gets some spoons in her hand, and she's twirling them around and making clicking sounds and shit. I mean, there's just no excuse for anybody, I feel like, especially in this country, maybe in different countries where you aren't as free, but in America, there's just no fucking excuse. Like, get the fuck out of here. Really, seriously. Good morning. Buenos dias!
Hey.
Who? Hey. Who is this?
Buenos dias.
Buenos Doritos.
This is Richard.
Hey, Richard. Are you first-time caller?
Am I what now?
Are you first-time caller?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
First-time caller. I don't remember you.
No. I've called you before.
Oh, okay.
It's for Richard B. Free, 2012.
Oh, okay. You sound different, but what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. I'm alive, dude. I'm alive. I survived this winter shit.
Absolutely. I see T-shirts coming.
Oh shit!
There's got to be T-shirts coming,
I've
right?
survived the Texas 2021 freeze.
Absolutely.
I know, right?
And on the back you can say, "I know the truth."
I survived the heart attack.
That's right. So have you seen, I tried to type it in the chat. Did you see where Larry Johnson on Twitter posted the Simpsons episode, Dark Winter? I'm going to put it in right quick one more time for you.
Oh no, let me see if I can grab it and make a copy real fast. Sometimes you can post links, sometimes you can't. What? What is up with the Simpsons, dude? What is up with that?
Now, you know Larry's out there, but Larry reveals a whole lot of good stuff.
Wait, Larry who?
Larry Johnson, ex-running back, Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I don't know. I don't know this dude.
Was big on the New World Order.
No, I didn't know that.
It appears that he has really given his life to Christ, and he exposes so much truth. I don't know if you're on Twitter still. I got knocked out.
You know, I'm on Twitter. I just haven't been as active, and I'm like, I go back and forth. Should I be active? Should I not be active? And honestly, I'm really kind of embarrassed. I really don't know how Twitter works because I haven't spent a lot of time on it, you know? And I don't feel
the best way to look at it, I don't mean to cut you off. The best way to look at it is like looking in the newspaper ads. And it's so convenient because it's up to the minute. I mean, it beats everything else in regards to the way the platform rolls. If you follow the right people, you knew about Tiger yesterday before everybody. It's not, you know, you only have a certain amount of characters, and information is constantly rolling in so much faster than the dinosaur sources of the past.
Well,
and
you know,
I had to censor everybody. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I probably will eventually get kicked off of Twitter anyway. So I'm just and there's
Oh, yeah,
I'm like
you will.
I figured out YouTube finally, you know. And had I harnessed the power of YouTube when I first got started in 2011, I would have been way bigger. But I just, you know, I didn't take it as seriously. I was like, oh, my podcast is just a hobby with my friend and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really realize how important it was and how fun I'd have doing it and how many great people I would meet and how I just can't stop doing it. I didn't realize all that stuff, you know? But you know, Facebook, we've been shadow banned forever. We were more active on Facebook than anything. And we still only have, and this is like 10 years ago, we only still have like 5,000 subscribers on Facebook. Because they were shadow banning on Facebook,
Right.
we believe, before all this stuff. Like we really noticed it first on Facebook, you know, the most.
Totally agree with that.
You know, so they were just like, oh, we're just not going to promote you, or we're going to rewind your subscribers, or, you know, so.
Well, I mean, you know, there was a reason why they got rid of Jesus. He was sharing too much truth about those who were in traditional positions of power. Their censor of him was a little bit different from what we endure. But, I mean, you know, it's a public space. It is the public forum. These are, in my opinion, public utilities. They should be.
Yeah, they are.
We no longer go to the city square to shout, you know, these are unethical situations. You know, we no longer have that. And in the sense of people saying, well, if you don't like what happened to you, go and create your own business. Well, we saw what happened to Parler. We see what happens to these other entities.
Yeah, they want your soul, dude. They don't care about their
exactly.
They're coming for your soul. So I mean, get ready, because it's not even like. It's not like, I'm a little bit annoyed with people that think it's just about Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
Like I'm kind of like, I mean, I've expressed it, and I went down the path that I went to. You know, I first and foremost, I'm an artist, I'm a teacher, I'm a truth seeker. Okay.
Right.
The road that I've been on has led me to the political conversation, but it doesn't end or begin just there. And there's still people that say that they're woke, and I get people that say that about me because I'm a patriot. I did support Trump and stuff, and but I just saw how that all tied into the media, how we were being lied on, how my friends that were Trump supporters and patriots were being lied on, how they were being attacked, you know. So, and me being in Texas, just really not in Austin, not really being able to get away from it as much as I didn't want to get into political conversation. I just felt like I was pushed in it, you know, because that was like I needed refuge. from these crazy leftists, huh?
Definitely.
What?
Well, I mean, anybody that listens to you knows that you're much more dynamic. It's not a one-dimensional. There's some deep thought going on. You're a critical thinker. You're pushing for what's right. What is good, godly, common sense right? I mean, just like right now, we've got a head of, education, and this dude is saying that the family should follow what the kid thinks, and that they should suppress natural hormones. I mean, how crazy is that?
It's very crazy.
How crazy is that?
It's very crazy.
What kid knows exactly what they're going to be in the future? What kid knows at the age of 9, 10? All the different changes. I mean, heck, I think about the fact that here I am bordering 50, and my mind has changed literally in the last 5 years multiple times about different things.
Yeah.
Here I am thinking that Mitch McConnell was on our side. No, he's part of the swamp too. And so those who claim wokeness, where are they when you have a president that has, for all intents and purposes, nullified Title IX, which was all about helping girls get the same access to scholarships that young men had? Now you basically have made it. If I'm coaching a basketball team, a girls' basketball team, why wouldn't I load them up with a bunch of he-she's? We're going to get every rebound. I'm going to get every rebound. You're not going to beat me. I'm going to win based on the system that you've created. And it's like there's this circular thought. There's no thought about, if this, then this. It's always that one-dimensional, well, yeah, my feelings say that what they're doing right now is right. So,
I mean, I think feelings and emotions are necessary in some situations because, that I think feelings and emotions manifest things, and it's good. Like if you're angry about something, but you want to do something with that anger, you don't want to stay in that state of anger. But if you just stay there and you're just angry all the time, you're going to manifest something very unhealthy if you're not being productive with that energy.
True.
So it's
True.
like,
what do you anchor those emotions to, though?
I know.
There's got to be a compass of some sort.
But that's what they're doing, right? They're not anchored to anywhere, and they're keeping us in this lower vibrational state of like, anger and fear all the time. And when people are in anger and fear all the time, they're easily manipulated. That's what they're doing with, the Black Lives Matter shit, the reparation shit. They're basically just like, stay angry at these people. These people are the reason why you aren't being successful. And don't look at yourself. Don't take responsibility. Don't get that in that train of thought, because it's like, you can't do anything. They want to make you feel like you're helpless and that you need help. And then it breeds these people, like we were talking about, they want to be coddled. They like it. They like being talked down to their pets. Some pets want to be free. Like I look at some people walking their dogs and they're just like, I'm a fucking dog. Like, I want to run, but I'm enslaved with this leash. And then the other people that like it. You know what I mean? Like, I had this neighbor that would dress her dogs up for Halloween. And she had this one cute little dog. She dressed him up as like a, what do you call those? Like the ball with the prison stripes and the ball and chain and stuff. And he loved it. He loved it. He loved the attention. And the dog was like, I love it. He was like dancing and shaking. And we'd be like, oh my God, he's so cute. And then I remember the other dog was dressed up as like Superman. And he was just like, get this shit off me. Like, you just look at the expression on his face. He's like, I'm a fucking dog. I don't dress up for Halloween. Like, I wonder if they have these conversations with each other. If the dogs are like, because some dogs like this shit. Maybe I'm going too far, but I do. These are thoughts that I have. I'm just like, does that dog like being, like, having a muzzle and having to ask for their food? And, it's like, I think of people on government assistance, and my mom was on it for a while. We were on it. We needed it. But I'm telling you one thing, my mom was also like trying to hustle and get other jobs and money on the side. And she eventually got off of it.
It equated into you, because you see, what standard of living is it? And now people brag about being on the system. There's no longer a stigma with it. there's a certain pride and a lack of desire to go above and beyond, because your mother knew that there was more beyond what the government could give them.
Yeah.
And I got in that argument a long time ago when I pointed out under Barack, welfare numbers went through the roof, and they were like, well, those people need help. And I said, hold on. I'm not saying they don't need help. I'm saying when government intrusion and over 21,000 new regulations squelch and choke out business and business opportunity, jobs diminish. Those aren't great lives. Those people, if you told them they could get paid as opposed to waiting for that payday from the government, they will take the job every day.
Yeah. Well, some people will, some people won't. I mean, yeah, because you realize having a job, it gives you a sense of personal independence and awareness, and and freedom, and then it's like when you're like, it's like the same concept, right? Like when you're living in your mama's house, right? You gotta live under her rules. You gotta do what you're told. You gotta, what I mean? But it's just like now they're, and I know in Australia they've already done this. They're tying welfare benefits to vaccination, so you can't even get your welfare benefits unless you're vaccinated.
Oh my God!
So they're gonna try and start doing that shit here.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Australia's been in prison for a while, and I almost moved to Australia. I was this close. Thank God. One of my boyfriends was Australian, and I was gonna move there after I was living in Taiwan. I almost moved to Australia, and it didn't work out. And I want to go to Australia, and I heard Australia's amazing, and I love Australian people. So if you're in Australia, no offense, I would love to come and visit your country one day. But I'm just saying, they got the buyback program. The buyback program, they got the they gave them to give up their guns. They got them to give up their guns through the buyback program. They have they're totally censored. One of the doctors I follow, Sherry Timpenny, who's she's just phenomenal. Not just a phenomenal doctor, but a phenomenal teacher. Really good at explaining, the danger of vaccines to lay people. She was traveling around the world, and they actually prevented her from coming into the country. She had lectures and stuff lined up. So this is years ago. This is so I knew Australia was on that path. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's they have to have secret meetings to air vax screenings, And speaking of which,
to do what again? To do what?
The vax. If you know Vax, the movie that talks about the MMR vaccine and how there's
they have to have people come to the house and
exactly. Secretly, they couldn't have public screenings and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
let me ask you this first thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of this, I know you still have friends who were Biden fans. Probably not a lot. I had one guy who was constantly just berating me all through the whole thing. Because, we had those moments where we thought that there were going to be arrests on the day of the inauguration. Mm-hmm. We thought, I kept saying, no, dude, just watch. Just watch.
I was hoping.
True law and justice about to play out. Okay. So after it was all done, this dude calls me and he says, so now are you going to apologize and acknowledge how you were wrong? And I said, whoa. I said, wrong about what? I was wrong about the predictions, but I'm not wrong about the fact that he got the most votes, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, the corruption that is going on. And number three, why do I have to say that the best person won if I still don't believe that? Why does my thought process have to be what yours is? I said, whenever you go to a sporting event and you see a referee make a bad call, even if the game prevails, the person who shouldn't have won, does it make it right? I said, I was always for right. Here we are, we've got a president that could have been dictatorial in all of this, which the media would have gone bananas. And now you're embracing somebody who has signed more executive orders than anybody in his first week. But I was just curious, what kind of conversations you've had since the clarity of the election.
Oh my God, my cousin had that conversation. My cousin is so honorary. She's so I used to look up to my cousin like my big sister. And she was always
Right,
supportive of
right.
anything that I do. She's one of the reasons that I got into the vaccine game because my cousin's autistic, her daughter, who's my cousin, but as well. And she was the one that really educated me, and she showed me a lot of stuff. And she's anything that I've tried to do, she's always been there. But I mean, this whole flipping like political thing has just turned everything upside down. And she just called me, and she was like, she lied, and I was like, well, I was out there. She was like, why is Trump trying to start, Valiance and stuff? And I was like, I was at the Capitol. She was like, I was at the Capitol too. And then she lied about it, caught her in a lie. I was like, no, you weren't at the Capitol. Oh, well, I wasn't. I had friends there. I was like, yeah, I was actually there. Here's my footage. Like, here's me at the Capitol, And it was just like, yeah, she basically was like, well, Biden's getting inaugurated, and I said, and I would have admitted I was wrong, and if I was wrong, but I'm not, and I told you that God had his hands on this. So it was just, she's just been a horrible fucking person. And even when Hillary lost, I didn't go and rub it in her face. I didn't vote last time, but I knew she liked Hillary, and I hated Hillary. And I was trying to tell her like how horrible a fucking person Hillary was, and she just wouldn't listen. But this is what I talk about. It's the pride in you. So the conversations I have, my mom and I just don't really talk about it. She knows how I feel. We can just talk about other stuff. My mom's one of my best friends.
Did you convince her not to take the vaccine?
Oh yeah, she's not going to take it. She knows. At least that.
Unfortunately for me, my family looks like I've got a third ear on the side of my head and another eye. They won't listen to me about it. And people that I love have taken it.
Yeah.
And I know that thing is altering DNA.
Yeah,
I know it is.
I know
it is.
And I'm not trying to be a smartass, but all vaccines do that, really. I mean,
okay.
I know, but I mean, but this Moderna, it's a different type of technology that's doing it. So this is super experimental.
Okay. It's on another level.
They're doing it on another level. But which is a longer conversation I don't want to get into now, but you asked him, sorry, going back to your question, the conversations I'm having, I've really just distanced myself from a lot of my friends. They kind of know where I stand. And I just was talking to somebody the other day that I'm really, one of my friends we talked about this concept about just connecting with your tribe. That's what I've done, and internally I've made peace with the fact that I've tried to warn people and tell people, and I would get mad and cry, and it's devastating, it's devastating because these are the people that you care most about, and you want to warn them and help them, and these are the people that turn on you the fastest, and you're just like, how is that possible? I mean, it's so like heart-wrenching and devastating. But I have been dealing with this since I, started this journey 10 years ago. Like all of my friends, and I went to college. I don't think except my friend that I started the channel with. I lost like 20 people or more that I thought were my friends. They all think I'm fucking nuts now.
Wait, hold on. You're not even with your buddy that you started with?
No, except her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the only. We met in college.
Okay.
We met in college. So.
Okay.
So.
But it's always nice in the midst of this to go through this with someone who you can talk to.
Definitely.
That you see what's happening together.
Yes.
And I myself, in the midst of this, even when Barack was in office, I left my church of 30 years because they were pushing Barack, and I was like, well, what about embracing things that we as believers aren't supposed to embrace? Where do we draw the line in the sand? So in the transition to my new place, I'm still running into there's such a small percentage. And I believe, I don't want to come off as a religious zealot, but I also believe that there are certain things that when God has shared them with us, that they're evil, and we know the ramifications of them.
Yeah.
Why would we embrace them?
Because
why on God's green earth would we continue to embrace them just to go along to get along? And I had an epiphany similar to what you're saying. My people are those people who see it for what it is, who are believers, and are not caught up in trying to accommodate to go along to get along. And it's a small club.
Yeah,
it's a very small club.
And it's, and this is where I say the spiritual war comes in, because it doesn't have to do with you being, like, being associated with the church isn't going to save you from the spiritual war that's upon us. It's not going to shield you from that. Because I have other people, not just people that are Christians, but people of a different religion, too, that kind of, we're on the same train of thought. And it's not like, it's about, like you said, what's right. It's about, survival, but in the way that, you want to thwart the human species and human life and togetherness and come together and empowerment. It's not about I'm right and you're wrong, and and it's like I get mad and I talk about like some of my friends and family that I fall out with, because I'm just hurt. And I also want to be honest about it, because I know other people are going through the same thing. And I remember when we started the podcast, we always talk about it. It was great to have somebody. We were always talking about how thankful we were. Our first episode actually that we did is called Awakenings, and we interviewed each other. And we talked about why we started on this path. And our 100th episode, we interviewed each other again and talked about how far we've come. And
iron sharpens iron, and I tell you, having someone to lean on in the midst of that is huge.
Yeah, and in the process, we were just truth seeking. We wanted to know more, and we were also trying to understand. I've learned a lot about the psychology of people, because I wanted to understand why these people that I thought had my back, and I'm trying to tell them something that's going to empower them, why they would just turn against me, and not even there's some that are like, all right, I see, okay. But there were just some people that just got really violent and mean and vicious and just just enemies. And I cried. It was very painful. It was just very, I thought we were friends. I thought you liked me. I thought you respected me. I thought, I don't know. It was just, I keep saying painful, but we've talked about it through our episodes. We talked about a reoccurring thing. We also talk about, when we did the podcast, we would always ask people the reoccurring question, what led to your quote-unquote awakening, or what made you wake up? And people have different answers, because I think it's different for different people and depending on what you're doing. But the more I look back on it, I feel like this is a path that was destined for me. I know that sounds weird and maybe cultish.
No, it doesn't.
But when I moved to Taiwan,
I'm telling you, it's a small group that have had an awakening, and I still believe strongly that others will. Now, this is the thing. Mine started in 2004. I was in an investment that I couldn't understand why things were happening the way they were. And after I did research, and I found out 16 employees for the SEC had been caught surfing porn. No firings. Wow. And then I kept digging down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh. And it just, because it happened in 2004, I began to print any article I came across. I've got this stack of articles from reputable sources from years of just looking at stuff and saying, oh my gosh, this isn't making it to the mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, 9/11, nobody knows that Bush Sr. had two other sons. One of them Marvin, and another one, I can't remember what his name was.
Oh, what?
They had a security company that had unfettered access to the Twin Towers the weekend before 9/11. There's a reason they don't even show us the video of the buildings collapsing, and it's because it was a controlled demolition.
Yeah.
What other building that's been on fire, they say that it was fire that brought it down, in the bottom of the rubble, but find the passports of these so-called terrorists?
Yeah, I know! The magic passports!
Are you kidding me?
Oh, look, we just found this, we found two passports! What the fuck? I remember that was the thing that made me be like, what? Huh?
There are so many things, so many loose ends, that when you start to research, it starts to add up and you realize, we've really been in a matrix. We have literally been in a matrix. There's, like in the movie, there's somebody that says, put me back in, right? Doesn't
the guy that took the blue pill for the steak. He's like, I know the steak is fake, but it tastes really good,
So this is the thing. in your search of the psychology behind it, I would love to hear some of that stuff on that. And I know you can't stay on here with me forever, but one guy on here was talking about the flu and science. I think it was Mark Jason Walker. He made a great point, like, whatever happened to the flu? Now, what classes did you, what subject did you teach in school?
I taught English, but I was a long-term sub for like 8 years. And then, so I taught all the way from 4 all the way up to 17, 18. But I work mainly with schools, so I work with a lot of the same kids, because the way you really make a good living being a substitute teacher is you build relationships with the schools. And there's teachers out every day, so I was just going to the same schools. And I watched a lot of the kids grow up from the time they were 5 all the way up until 10 for elementary. And then I worked at some high schools. I worked at charter schools. So I actually got to go around. And I worked mainly in South Central and East LA. And
Okay.
and then when I
That's why you ain't no joke. Fighting, you can throw some hands.
Oh yeah, man! I worked as a teacher at South Central. You cannot play and plus I looked really young. I was smaller, or I was about a lot of their sizes, like the bigger kids, right? And so I had to be tough. I had to be like, because they were just trying to walk all over me. But then but they'll test you too, right? You know, chill. They'll test you. They'll see what they can get away with.
Oh yeah, they want to see what you can do.
Yeah. So you got to make an example of the kid like right away and put them in their place, and they're like, oh shit, like fuck, she ain't playing. No, I'm not playing. You know.
They're like, Miss Verstein ain't no joke. Miss Verstein ain't no joke.
One person raised their hand and was like, oh, you're gonna fucking hit me? Oh, you better fucking kill me, because when I get back up, I don't give a fuck. I will go to jail to defend my life. And they're like, oh shit. Like, but you gotta be like that. You know? You can get away with that in like you can get away with that in the hood. Now, if I was at a white school, it would be different. They'd be like, my parents are going to sue you. Like the white kids, they're more like psychologically manipulative, but you got to learn how to do it. I learned how to deal with that shit too, you know?
Absolutely.
But
this is what I was.
Oh, I'm just saying, because you asked me, and then I got my TEFL. I moved to Taiwan for 2 years. I taught English first year at a Bushy Bond, and then the second year I taught adults for a whole year. And then I also had private tutoring. I tutored this CEO that made Apple accessories privately. I was his private tutor.
So
and then,
you were in Taiwan.
Yeah, I was in Taiwan when I started Truther Talk. I was in Asia.
Oh my goodness! So, are you still in contact with a lot of friends over there?
No, they think I'm crazy.
No, they don't. No,
they think I'm crazy.
You gotta see that China is incrementally.
No, but I mean, like, you know, it's been 10 years. I had one friend that I would consider woke, and she's just. But when I, start talking about vaccines and stuff, and see, like, Taiwanese people are very sweet. They're very nice. They're very friendly. They're very, very intelligent. But they have no concept of the government like deceiving them, or like the New World Order. Like, if you tell them that, like, so they're just like, why would they do that? That's not nice. Like, I had a student there was a doctor that when you were talking about guns, and I was telling her about, our rights to bear arms and how it protects us being a standing army. And I was like, well, what would happen if China came over here and tried to take you over? And she was like, well, America will save us. I was like, no, you got oil? you have a reason for them to come and save you?
Good.
But I have, I'm in touch with one or two every once in a while, but a lot of them started once they saw a lot of stuff I was posting, and they don't really contact me. So it's pretty. That's really heartbreaking too, because it's like
I say to you this: stay encouraged, because I do believe there are cracks in the system. And it's going to get exposed just how much China controls us. The thought that we would come save them, especially under Biden, wouldn't happen. But what is happening to the Federal Reserve economic system that is totally controlled by, private banks, China, Republicans, Democrats that are part of the swamp, there are cracks in the system. It's going to start being more and more revealed how much it is controlled. And people like that who may have, I guess, put you in a corner in a box and say, I can't listen to it. A lot of them are going to have awakening. Just like you told us earlier today, that someone called you and said, hey, I don't know about you, but I believe there might have been some heart down there. All right. I don't want to sound conspiracy, Well, we didn't want to sound conspiracy like 5, 10 years ago, but it is
right.
what it is.
You're like, I
When we
can't
came
wait to be a
across
conspiracy
truth-
theorist.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're like, we can't wait to be a conspiracy theorist when we grow up. Like, it's fucking hard.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
Mentally, psychologically,
Exactly.
emotionally, you know, physically you get attacked sometimes. It's fucking hard. It's not easy. I didn't like, you know, I didn't really want this, but I'm not going to back down from it because I know what's right. And I feel more empowered though. It's a harder life, but a better life.
I agree. I was going to ask you one last thing.
One last thing. What's up?
Okay. So, in science class, the reason I was asking what subject you taught, okay, in science, we were always taught to come to a great hypothesis or a conclusion on a hypothesis. You have to ask a lot of questions. But now in the midst of this, we're just supposed to trust science. But true science, true elementary science is constantly questioning. Am I right? I mean,
and now that you mention that, one of the best teachers I've ever had, like in my whole life, was my 7th and 8th grade science teacher, Mr. Hayes. And he would always tell us to be a problem solver, to figure us. He was constantly drumming that in our heads. And he would say, and he was a pro-life person too. He was he was the first person that introduced me to that concept because I was like, what is that? He was like, yeah, like,
right,
yeah.
right.
But he was just very like, he was always just like, you know, just drumming that into our heads. And that was his like his logo, his catchphrase. What do they call it? Like the business have, but that was his thing. Be a problem solver. Motif. His recurring
theme.
His recurring theme, his motif is. Anyway, he would just be like, be a problem solver. And we would get mad because we were just like, oh, just tell us the answer. He'd be like, figure it out. And then when I became a teacher, I'm like, oh, these kids want the answers. They don't want to figure anything out. And I'm like, oh, and I thought about him a lot. I wish I could go back to him and be like, you were right. I know what you mean. And I'm so glad that you drummed that into me. But yeah, he was one of the best.
That's the power of great teachers. I mean,
yes.
That's what I love. Yeah, whenever you got one that's like that, you can't beat it with a stick. So
he was amazing. Like he had some like physiological issues, and he couldn't have children, but he loved children, and he took us out. Like we would do fundraising stuff to just do like all this, and he'd also like make us work hard to raise our own money. And he would take us, I lived in LA, but he was the one, he took us skiing. He would take us skiing during the winter. And we'd always like have car sales or bake sales. And, and then we'd pile up with, and the parents were, he wasn't like, the parents would come, like he'd make it a community effort. And we'd go to Big Bear and we'd go skiing. We'd raise enough money to go to Florida.
I love that.
Yeah, he was amazing.
I'll never forget the teacher that I had.
Yeah.
That everybody in our class, 4th grade, had to get swimming lessons. So they would take us once a week, put us on a bus, and we would go get swimming lessons. And when you graduated to certain levels, you got patches.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that age, learning how to swim and then being around people who, in our community, the black community, knowing how to swim and other cats didn't know how, you were like, why didn't y'all go?
Yeah,
you don't realize the blessings that you're getting at an early age until long after they come and go. But,
yeah, I mean, I was a ghetto kid, but I had lots of opportunities like that where I was exposed to a lot of stuff, programs and stuff.
Praise God. That explains why you are where you are. You talked about, I don't know why, you're in your position and you're doing the good work and you just keep doing it. You have a awesome purpose in this moment, and I pray God's blessings upon you, and you stay encouraged, you keep your head up and keep on trudging forward, because
thank you.
People need to hear this, Christine. They do, and I think you know that, but
I know that now. I think
to keep doing it.
I thank you. I just want to say one more thing. I know that now. I think when I first started doing it, I needed it, and then I was kind of like, we made it public though because we were like, well, maybe some other people would need it. I don't know, but.
Right.
And I still need it. I still need it. I still need you guys. I still need to know that I'm not alone. I'm not just talking to myself making videos. You know?
Oh yeah.
And I know what it's like. I know it's like being in a fucking another country, okay? Where I didn't even speak like Chinese and I'm waking up.
Right.
You know, like I really needed it. You know? I couldn't even read my gas bill and I would fucking cry. I'm like, I'm illiterate. I can't do shit. and we're being controlled by psychopaths. So what do? Oh, I'll start a podcast with my best friend on the other side of the world. That's how I'll get through it. So, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, enjoyed talking with you. You take care of yourself.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All righty.
All right, bye. All right, I'll take one more call. I didn't see anybody else trying to call through, so I talked to him for a while. He's a good conversationalist, so. Oh, snap-a-lappa. Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's this? Wait. Jafari?
No.
Jafari.
It's another brother. The other brother.
The other camera. Okay, wait, hold on. Not O.
It's O.
Oh, it's O! You seem more happy today. Because I think the last time you called, you were pissed. You seem a little Am I right, though?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of, if I was pissed last time, it must have been something that was real fucked up. Because I'm usually even kilter.
Okay.
I see things that are fucked up, but I'm just like, man, that's the world for you.
But you're in Texas too, right?
I'm in Houston. Woo-wee.
How are you? How did you deal with the winter freeze?
Well, see, being in Houston, being in Texas all my life, and then just, how they hype shit on the news, they're like, oh, freeze is coming. I like, shit, whatever, I just,
because they never write anyway. Seriously, you're like, you know what I mean? They don't never fucking write. Yeah.
Exactly. I went to sleep, and then, I got up. I couldn't sleep that night for some reason, so I woke up. To use the restroom, and then I flushed. I turned on the water stopped working. I'm like, man, what the hell? So I just used alcohol and went back to sleep. And then when I woke up, I noticed the lights were out. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So my lights weren't working. And then I turned on the water again and the pipes froze. I saw it was snow everywhere outside. It was ice. So I went to my sister's house. She had gas. So I don't have gas in my place. So, we were able to boil water and heat that shit up and take a shower. It was crazy because I was boiling some water to take a bath with, and then my little nephew, he dropped his lollipop in there, and he was just looking at me smiling. I was just like, God damn. It was a crazy fucking week. And
yeah, I know.
My ceiling collapsed. I had busted pipes all in my attic. And,
oh my God!
It's crazy.
Man, dude. Yeah, I still don't have water. I just came back into my apartment yesterday. I still don't have water. I had to borrow a bucket of water from my neighbor so I could flush my toilet. Like my bathroom was looking like a potty. It was fucking nasty. And I have survivalist water under my bed, and after the show I'm gonna go and take a shower at my friend's house. But yeah, I still have water. So.
Yeah, you live in a house or apartment?
Apartment.
They need to fix that shit.
Well, I know. No, but I see people out there fixing. They're working on it. It's not like they don't care and they're not doing anything. But it's and it's funny because we always have issues with our pipes anyway. So I'm like, great, So they basically have to tear down the mailroom to get to the pipes to fix the pipes. I mean, there are people that have been working around the clock on the pipes and stuff. So.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they're working. I see them physically working on it. It's just not done. And it's like, I don't know. They said today, but we'll see. But thank God I still have my friend that he only lives a few minutes away from me. I can just go, and he's been more than gracious and just been like, hey, just, come here. If you want to, you need to take a shower or whatever, take a bath or whatever. Like, it's all good. So at least I have that. And my neighbor's really sweet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's like, and I was trying to tell people that calling to check on me. I was just like, I kept trying to tell them, I'm like, I'm fine, I'm gonna be okay. And one thing I was trying to let everybody know is, I'm like, this is actually the state of the majority of the world. The majority of people in the world don't have running water or lights, all the time. You know what I'm saying? So
totally.
We're used to this. We're used to this lifestyle, and we don't realize that a lot of these things we have are luxuries. We pay for them, but they are luxuries. And, we need to keep that in perspective. And, when people bitch, moan, and complain about how fucked up this country is,
I know.
I'm just like, by all means, nobody stop you. Get the fuck out of here.
I know, totally. But the only thing I would say, the caveat I would add to that, is that we weren't prepared for the weather. So a lot of places that have this situation, they're not like living in deep snow, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's they're not going to freeze to death. Like, there are people that froze to death. I kept thinking about the homeless people here that probably froze to death, some of them. There was a lady that lost her baby due to the weather conditions. Because I don't know if I would say I froze to death, but I was living in my bathroom just to stay warm for the first couple days. I couldn't even drive out or go anywhere. Because I had, my car doors are frozen. My road was snowed out. I have a small car, and I was freezing. Like I would go to the kitchen, and I had tuna. I was eating tuna cans, okay, and I would try to make some tuna, and my hands would freeze shut.
Wow.
I was just like, so I would just say, you're right about there not being electricity and there not being water, and that's a perspective. But I think the thing that just made it brutal was just like the weather. Because a lot of places in Africa and South America, it doesn't snow like that. And that's the thing too, God forbid this happened in New York during a blizzard. Because my friend was like, he was just like amazed. He was just like, in New York, we don't even have blackouts like this for the power, during a blizzard or something. But they're used to this weather. It's different. It's like if something happened where there was a blizzard in Africa, right, and it was snow, a lot of people would die. Because they're not used to dealing with snow. So I was trying to explain to my friend too, like I do Mandarin study like once a week, and he's in like conversation practice, and he's in Singapore, and I was trying to explain to him, I was like, what is the word for like this was like it was a crisis. And he didn't want to give me the word crisis. He was like, "Give me a crisis." I was like, "Look, dude, people like." I was trying to. He was like, he gave me the word for like bothersome, or inconvenience, and I was like, "No, it was a fucking crisis because, people seriously died and got hurt because of the infrastructure situation. I guess
Yeah. Well, I'm not. What I'm not saying is, I'm not saying that the tragedies were just totally unavoidable. I'm just saying that people need to be thankful.
Oh, totally.
For what we have here.
And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because I thought about that too. Yeah.
I know. You don't have to do this. I mean, that's just more so for like the people listening. I don't want them to think I'm an insensitive asshole or nothing like that.
No, but you're right. I mean, there's so much. Look, the average ghetto ass person in the United States lives like a fucking king compared to the people in the rest of the world. They get hot water. They get showers. They get clean water. They don't have to go and fetch their water. They don't have to grow their food. They don't have to tend to animals. They don't have to, you know, I don't know if you see my friend Inonge that I have on here too, that's in Texas, but she's, you know, she's part African, and she lived in Africa, and she's like, people have, like, gardens and cows and sheep, and they make their own food, and they, like, you know, they're very grateful, and they're very, like, resourceful. But, yeah, like...
You know what they're also?
What?
You know what they're also? They're also very free. They're also very free.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So that's another thing. That's another thing I was saying. I was just like, you know, all these people that go off the grid, you know, they bust their ass to set up a water system and a you know, power system and all that stuff. They bust their ass, and they're free.
Yeah, they're
free.
You know,
they have to prepare for stuff like this. So this lifestyle we live, you know, it kind of puts us to sleep. We're not prepared. We're not. If shit were to pop off, a lot of people wouldn't be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I was kind of prepared. It just the heat thing got me. Like, I had stored food. I have gallons of water under my bed. I had, like, you know, I was packing. I have a bug out bag. I have first aid supplies. But the heat thing is the thing that stopped me in my tracks.
I feel you on that. But I was trying to tell my sister's friend, you know, that I was trying to tell her that I kind of think this situation is worse than it should be, because I think there was some kind of central manipulation of the power grid.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying, well, you know, that's they're probably trying to punish us for not voting for him. And I was just like, I mean, that could be, you know, she said that mockingly. I'm like, that could be it, you know, because I'm like, these people that are in charge, I said, these people that are in charge are very evil. And you know, Texas, they have their own power. We have our own power grid. And, you know, I was like, man, it could have been something staged to make the people want to be on the power grid with the rest of the 48 continental states and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking in the back of my mind.
Yeah. I'm sure that it's multi-layers, you know, too. Yeah. But going,
Yeah, you know, because this is not the first time it snowed heavy. I remember in 2010, it snowed like 5 inches in Dallas, and we all had lights and water, and we were all playing in the snow, making snowballs, and, you know.
Did it snow and did it ice? Did it snow and did it ice?
Did it snow and ice?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know. It was like 10 degrees. It was like 10, 16 degrees outside.
But
it was snow.
But I mean, like, did it, like, you know, like this time, or at least where I was, it snowed and it iced. It was ice and snow. It wasn't just snow. Because usually it snowed a couple times since I've lived here, but it's gone like the next day, you know?
Yeah.
But it didn't stay for this long, and it wasn't just ice and snow. It was either ice or snow. Either we had ice or we had snow, but it was ice and snow at the same time. And it stayed for like almost a week.
I can't even remember. I know that there was snow. I know that the roads were bad for like about a week and whatnot. And then when the sun came out, it was kind of like you know, at the end of a horror movie when they kill a monster and then they wake up the next day and it's all bright and sunny and the butterfly flies on somebody's nose and shit like that. I don't remember how bad it was, but I just remembered that we had lights. And we had lights and water, and, you know, we were all having a great old time. But now I was like, damn, this is fucked up. Like, I'm like, I don't know about this snow shit no more.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. Like, you know, my friend sent me some little mini movies of him snowboarding. And I was like, yeah, that shit's fun when you have a nice warm house to go back to. You don't have a nice warm house to go back to. It's not fun, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, it was a crazy week. I heard you earlier. You saying you were forced in politics and stuff like that, and I'm fucking sick of this. I'm fucking sick of this show.
Yeah, I know.
This political show, because that's really all it is. anybody with common sense can see what they're doing is fucked up.
Yeah.
Biden is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
This dude, like what your cousin said, God had his hand on this. God had nothing to do with this. This is not of God for all these evil people to be in office and stuff like that. Like this guy's a moron. And all these executive orders he's passing. The one that made me the most mad was the one when he ended the apprenticeships, where it was in the hands of the industry. Now they put it back in the hands of the government. He ended that. I'm just like, yeah.
I haven't even been honestly. I haven't been keeping abreast with all the executive orders because I know I'm just gonna get pissed.
Yeah. I don't blame you, but I kind of told myself I'm not gonna pay attention to it. I'm just gonna get on my grind and shit like that. But then I'm like, let me see how bad he's fucking shit up, man. He's doing all this shit. He's doing nothing. I follow him on Instagram. I follow many politicians on Instagram just to see how full of shit they really are. All he does is post pictures of his dog or him walking in the White House courtyard or just him wearing a mask and shit like that. Like, he's done nothing, and all the people, all these black folks that were just cheering him on, they're not even fucking paying attention to what he's doing.
I know.
And all that. I don't.
Because the media hasn't told them to. That's why. The media's our bitch now. They're the media's bitch.
It just baffles. It doesn't baffle my mind. It kind of just pisses me off to the point of like disgust and disappointment. And I don't want to be an elitist, but I'm just like, how the fuck are y'all not seeing this shit? But it's back for them. It's back to their regular scheduled program. So it's like now all of a sudden racism doesn't exist. I haven't heard any incidences of like black people getting beat up by the police or shot, because I guess that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
For sure.
I don't know, like, what you were saying earlier about people have to wake up or they're gonna perish and shit like that. For me, I'm like, good. Some of these niggas need to go anyway, because they're holding everybody back.
I know, but you gotta watch your train of thinking, because I have gotten like that too. But it's just like basically the same thing. They think that about us, and I don't wish that on people. I wish, even I hear people in the comment sections like, let those people get vaccinated. It's weeding the dumb people out. Well, it is, but it's like, I also realize, one of the reasons I do this work is so I'm trying to warn people so this doesn't happen to them. It's like the people that would be like, you're killing children, but I hope you're an anti-vaxxer, you're killing children, but I hope your children die because you didn't get them vaccinated. You're like, what? How are you?
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I mean? So I know it's just out of frustration and out of anger and out of even hurt. It's pain that you just like fuck. Like I go like this. I'm just like I try and tell people, and people know where I stand. And I really have had to make peace with myself. Whatever happens, as long as I know that I did my best to tell people and try and help people. That's all you're left with. That's all you can do. Because at the end of the day, it's their journey. It's their choice. And they're going to be the ones that are going to have to live with themselves if they find out that they're wrong. And they realize that they're wrong, they're going to have to deal with the way that they treated you and other people, what they thought. Like, that's going to be on them. Like, your conscience is your soul's prepared. You know what I mean? How is their soul?
Yeah.
That's all you got to, like, and it's hard. Like, I think sometimes I've reached that where I'm just like, okay, I'm done. And then I'll still, like,
it calls you. It's calling you.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? I gotta like pull back and be like, you know what? I gotta focus, because it's draining trying to talk to people that don't want to be woken up. And a lot of times, I have to remind myself this too, because I was talking to I was complaining to my one friend about my other friend, And I was just like, well, remember, you know, a lot of times too, when you're in people's face and you're trying to tell them the resistance, part of them is not waking up is the resistance, because they want to believe the opposite of what you're trying to tell them, because they're being resistant. So sometimes you plant that seed and then you walk away, and then they'll come back, you know?
Yeah.
So you really just got to worry about you, and like I said, find your tribe, you know, connect with people. That's why I'm always telling people that they should start their own channel. I hope that dude in Ireland starts his own channel, because he's going to find community. It's going to be, you're building a community basically. And I didn't realize that that's what we were doing when we started our channel. But I mean, the connections I have now, the people that I know, I wouldn't even, look, I wouldn't have had no place to go had I not had my channel. I made friends with a guy that reached out to me, you know, last year, because he resonated with what I was saying. He's like, oh, you're in Austin. Oh, you do music. Oh, you want to do music. Now he's like my bandmate. When this shit happened, he was like, come to my house. Had I not met him through my channel, I met Inage through my channel. Had I not met I would be by myself. I would be miserable. I would be freezing in my bathroom. I wouldn't have a place to go. This channel has brought me so many blessings. On so many, like, I'm not making money because I'm demonetized. I get donations here and there. My patrons are subscribing, but it's not enough money to live off on, right? And I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know. I still do this channel because I love it. I still have to do other things to make money, but to live off of, right? But the blessings that I'm getting from this channel, and in the end, I feel it's gonna mean more, or has mean more to me than money. You know, so
yeah, you always got to look at the long range profit instead of the short term gain. That's
you know, but I'm just saying, like, that's, you know, and I'm just like, start a channel, start a podcast, do something, you know, like, you have a unique perspective. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm just saying, that's why people are like, I want to start a channel. I'm like, do it, right? And you always have a different perspective. You'll always, like, but you'll start. This is a wonderful thing. We always hear about the shitty things about social media, but the wonderful thing is that you can build a community now on social media. You can find like-minded people. Like, I think about the people that were on our level and have our train of thought back in the day when the internet didn't even exist. Like, it must have been very lonely. And I talked to some of them.
Very lonely.
Like, I know, like, somebody, I don't know, Max Egan. I know Max Egan. You know that guy? You should look him up. You should look him up. I think you dig him. Max, he's an Australian guy. He's an older guy. I think he's in his 70s. But he was like, he was born like woke or awakened. Now I don't want to use woke, but you know what I mean? He was born, he knew this shit from his kid. He just knew. He was like, so, you know, for somebody like him, it must be very lonely, you know, when you didn't even have a lot of like-minded people that were on the same tip as you. But now with the internet, you can find like-minded people. It's better. It's getting better. And even, you know, other people, David Icke, I would watch his stuff back in the day, and if you talk to him now, you know, he started in the like 30s, but he's, you know, you talk to him now and he's just like, oh my God, like, yeah, I couldn't even fill a room like of 10 people with my lectures, and now I fill stadium. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah, people are tired of the bullshit.
Yeah.
People are tired. There's a lot of, and that is the positive side of social media. You know, you can get information out quicker.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just you got to get in that space. Like I talk a lot about this stuff on Instagram and shit like that. But like I don't get a lot of views, or like, of course I don't get a lot of likes and shit like that. But you know, I'm not really tripping. Like maybe 2 or 3 people would like it or view the whole story and shit like that. But I mean, you just gotta be thankful for those 2 that gave you their ear, you know?
Yeah, and you got to be consistent, and you got to produce content that people like and want to share, and on a bigger, you know, level. But it's like, I mean, I've been consistent. It takes time. You know, this channel started with 1 subscriber. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start somewhere. I didn't, like, you know, start with like 10,000 subscribers. Start with 1, and, you know. So you gotta,
you know, it's like building a house. You know, you do it brick by brick.
Exactly. All right, I think. Did you want to say anything else? I'm a balance. I haven't even eaten all day. I'm starving. Starving. I'm starving.
Did you have you had your thyroid checked?
No, but I think
you said you were freezing. You say you were freezing in your restroom. There's a guy that I
Yeah,
I
I
listened
think.
to.
Oh, I was gonna say, go on. Yeah, but I mean, like, I was freezing. It was freezing. But yeah, I'm working on my thyroid. I think I have some thyroid irregularities. I do, but I'm
Yeah, cause
But I mean, everybody was freezing.
Cold.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know how cold it was there, but I mean, like, it has to also do with the insulation and stuff. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was fucking cold. It was fucking cold.
It was cold as hell here, and I think my thyroid is kind of thrown off because one of the symptoms is intolerance to cold, and I've never been just this intolerant to cold, and then your extremities being cold when it gets cold. Like at night, my fingertips and my toes were fucking like freezing.
I know,
like,
yeah.
God dang.
I felt though if I took my socks off and I put my foot on top of my other foot, my feet stayed warmer. And then I put my hands. I had my winter coat on. I put my hands in my jacket.
Yeah, I was straight sleeping in my jacket.
Yeah.
Like in my leather jacket. I was straight sleeping in my leather jacket and a hoodie. Like this shit was crazy. But yeah, I'm glad you made it out.
Yeah, me too, brother. We survived.
Yeah.
We survived.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? God is good. It's
Speaking
good.
of,
I love life. I wish that's one thing. I wish people would just get back to living life instead of worried about like the boogeyman and shit like that. Like just enjoy. Like yesterday, it was so sunny. I was like, damn, like this was a beautiful day. I'm like, it had to be a guy.
Yeah.
A day like this.
But that was the thing too. Like the sun wasn't coming through, so I realized I need to get out. I'm glad I took up to my friend and took up going to my friend's house too because, I realized it was starting to affect my mental state because I wasn't getting any sun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off about last summer. Telling people to stay inside and don't talk to anybody. I'm just like, y'all gonna kill people. Y'all are gonna kill people. Like people gotta get out. People gotta talk to other people. People gotta commune with each other.
Mm-hmm.
The more I hear about what these people do, the more I hate them even more. Like
I know.
You're
like, damn, today's just a whole new level of evil. You're just like, dang, just when I thought the evil couldn't get more evil, it's got more evil.
Yeah, like these people with the World Economic Forum and the WHO and then Dr. I'm not even gonna call him doctor, just Fauci. These people are very bad people. Bill Gates.
Yeah, I know.
He wants to be Thanos. Wipe out half the population and shit like that.
Did you see that Carrie Mullis interview where he was talking about Fauci and what a joke he was? Carrie Mullis is the inventor of the PCR.
I watched with him, he was talking bad about Fauci.
He was just like, dude. And I hate that he died right before COVID because he would have blown the lid off that shit with the PCR test. He won the Nobel Prize for the for inventing the PCR. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you think they killed him?
I don't know the whole story, and nothing surprises me. But I have to dig into. I mean, I know that they off people and stuff. But, just with this Brandy Vaughn situation, like, I initially thought that she was probably offed, and now I have a different opinion because her family and friends put out a video, so I'll respect that, But, I mean, there was a lot of evidence there, too, from what she was saying about what was going on to her to believe that she was probably murdered, so I get it, but I don't know the whole story about how he died. And it's funny, I wanted to see if I can get an interview with him. And then that's how I found out he died. I was like, no! I really wanted to interview him.
Yeah, that's, I don't think, like, when people talk about, like, oh, you better be quiet, they'll kill you. I don't think it's that simple. You know, there is universal law that these people do have to adhere by.
Well, that too, and it's also a lot of resources. They'll try and destroy your reputation first before they kill you. Like that's their MO. It's easier to destroy your reputation and to destroy your career than it is to kill you, because they gotta pay somebody. They gotta make it, look like maybe it wasn't. So and you have to do something bad. Bad, like according to them, right? You have to do bad, like there's this guy. Sorry, he said, "Do you speaking of thyroid? I'm eating sea spaghetti, which has iodine in it." So, he said that. I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to eat some iodine today." There's this guy named Jeffrey Bradstreet who was actually making really good progress in healing people with autism. He actually was a doctor. And he had an autistic son for vaccines, and his son was so severe that he was beating his head up against the wall and rubbing feces on the wall. I don't know if you've seen those videos. But he got him to stop doing all that, and he actually got his son to start doing schoolwork, and he was really making progress. His son actually graduated from high school, which was unheard of, and his son was 21. So he started, I think it was microphage therapy, and he started being outward with his research. And he was gaining attention, so they fucking broke into his lab, stole out and destroyed all his research. Then a couple days later, they found him next to a creek with a gunshot wound to his heart, and they said that he killed himself. Now, yeah, he was fucking that's a fucking lie. His family didn't believe it, so this family actually had a private investigation. They were like, "There's no fucking way he committed suicide." And he was so happy about his son graduating high school. And people that knew him knew that he was a fighter. And a lot of times, I'm sad to say, a lot of these people are so fucking cowardly, especially in the science field and stuff. They don't even really have to kill anybody. All they have to do is just threaten getting their license away or threaten their reputation. And they just took this doctor's license away. I think it was Paul Anderson, who he basically had a mini study going on in his practice of vaccinated against the unvaccinated, and the unvaccinated people were coming out unhealthier, and he published it, and they took his license away. Now, he also stood in the camp where it's well, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and I'm so he was kind of, and I'm not saying this, he deserved it, but I'm making an observation. We went out after this other doctor named Jack Wolfson, who's a cardiologist, and he was talking about criticizing vaccines. But Jack Wolfson's a fighter. Jack Wolfson he's thug in a good way. You know what I mean? He's I don't give a fuck. Yeah, come in, bring it, bitch. That's the attitude that he has, right? Him and his wife are kind of like that. So, anyway, I feel the doctors, but they weren't able to take his license. And I feel the doctors that are more they put their foot down, they're more in your face, they don't give a shit. They have a harder time getting to those doctors, whereas people that are kind of they're not as strong in their stance, or they don't stand up as quickly, they're easily corrupted too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or not corrupted,
Yeah.
not corrupted, but they're easily attacked. Even Andrew Wakefield, I think he's a really nice guy, but if you go back to the story and how it all began, I think you're right. Bacteriophage therapy. I think it's a microphage. Anyway, sorry. But if you go back, he seems like he was really naive, and he didn't know how evil these people were, and he was just well, I'm just doing my job. Yeah, I gotta, do what I need to do, and blah blah blah. But I think they were able to get him so fast and make an example out of him. A, he was well renowned, and he comes from a family of doctors, and so many people respect him. And B, he was just very naive, But he's a strong spirit. I've met him. They have not been able to break his spirit. I know.
Yeah.
He has a lot of people that he saved and that love him and that admire him and respect him. Sometimes they're not successful too at killing people or destroying their reputation. Sometimes it backfires. So I hate when people are just oh, they're gonna kill you eventually. Oh, I'm well, you're just giving them too much power. Then why speak up? Kill yourself today then. Why speak up if they're just going to kill you? If they're just not going to let you speak?
Said.
Oh, really? I like to.
Yeah, Dr. Shiva was like, I don't care. He's like, I mean, what's the point of living if you're not gonna be free?
Exactly. And my friend, I showed my friend Talia Dr. Shiva stuff, and she was like, "Oh, they're gonna kill him." I'm like, I don't think he gives a fuck. I'm like, they're gonna kill us anyway. I don't want to live in a fucking utopian society where I'm a fucking slave.
That's what we're living in now. That's what
we are, but it can get much worse, and you know that. That's why I have this channel. You know what I mean? It can get much worse. So you know the clamps can be tightened. But you're right. I think we are. You're right about that. But let me let you go. I will be back, guys. Friday. Remember Tuesday, March 2nd. I'm releasing my video and my music. So please check that out. And I'm gonna do my promos. I'm gonna hang it with you, but I'll hit you. I'll talk to you next time. Okay? Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too. Bye bye. All right, y'all. All right, so you can become a subscriber. I was trying to look for that Simpson episode. Somebody send that to me. I want to see. I want to make a copy of that. Support me on Subscribestar or Patreon. Join my email list. Buy some stuff from the store. Follow me on Gab, on BitChute, on Brighteon, on Steemit, on DTUBE, on listen to us on SoundCloud and follow us. Purchase a Conspiracy Realism course. Join my music pages on Gab and on YouTube. And subscribe to my backup channel on YouTube. All right, I got 1,000 subscribers. I still can't monetize because I need 4,000 hours plus watch time. So go figure. All right, guys, but I will be back Friday. Hopefully I'll be able to put a video up tomorrow. And I love y'all, and I'll talk to you later.